Welcome back to the show. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. If you're crew here, let's continue with the ride. Do remember, sharing is daring to wake someone up out of the matrix. So share this content with someone you love to see on the other side of this simulation. Now you know I love it when you hit the like button. Do it for the algorithm. That way I'll grow with them. Now let's laugh at this serious.
Joseph Fritzl doesn't want the world to see his face. What he did for 24 years in the cellar of the family home is all too well known.
Elizabeth Fritzl was 18 years old when she went missing from Amstetten, Austria. But she lived with her parents, Joseph and Rosemary, and she had a huge family. And home life was chaotic because it's actually believed her father started to abuse her at only 11 years old. And at the age of 15, she graduated from school and went on to take courses to become a waitress. She was trying to take these courses to become a waitress, to get a job, to get out of her home, to basically escape Joseph. But it became way too much before she was able to succeed, so she ended up running away. She ended up in Vienna, but within 3 weeks, authorities found her after Joseph and Rosemary reported her as missing. Elizabeth ended up just giving in and going back to the waitressing course, and by mid-1984, she finished and she was immediately offered a job, but unfortunately, this opportunity was taken away from her when her father ended up luring her to the basement of their home. Would draw up plans for machines that he was selling through his job, and he would also renovate a lot of things down in the basement, so no one in the family really questioned it when he walked up to Elizabeth and asked her to carry a door down with him. Elizabeth held the door in place on its hinges while Joseph proceeded to secure it into place, and as soon as the job was done, Joseph unexpectedly shoved Elizabeth into the room and held an ether-soaked towel over her face until she eventually went unconscious. Now, nobody else in the home saw Elizabeth go down to the basement with Joseph because for the rest of the day, nobody seemed to question why she never came up. All the family knew is that by the end of the day, they were unable to find her, and Rosemary went into a panic and immediately reported her as missing. But the problem is that Elizabeth had already run away once before, so everyone was kind of under this assumption from the get-go that Elizabeth had just run away again, and you better believe that Joseph was making sure this theory sunk in.
Wonder Woman, right? Linda Carter. She's giving off real Linda Carter Wonder Woman vibes.
But what the hell?
No? I know she was talking about something, Joseph somebody. I couldn't focus because she was reminding me of, well, okay.
From 1948 to 1973, for 25 years, the U.S. economy was so amazing that you could conceivably get a job. I mean a regular job. I don't mean an amazing job. And the pay would be so high and the benefits so amazing that you could not only afford to buy a house and feed your family, you might be able to send your kids to school, to college, and you might be able to retire really well.
Wow. For 25 years you could do that. So how long have we not been able to do that?
That was the only time, in fact, in human history where a person could work and make wealth. Right? Because if you look at the middle class today in the United States, they don't make wealth. They barely get by. The difference between the middle class and the lower class is that the middle class has stable housing and the lower class doesn't have stable housing. The wealth distance between the lower class and the middle class is negligible. It's meaningless. They're barely getting by. But for 25 years, people were prospering. And what they realized, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If people aren't fretting about food, if they're not worried about shelter, if they're not in constant fear that the economic situation they're in will collapse, they have mind space to start to ask bigger and better questions like, wait a minute, what about civil liberties? What about civil rights? What about human rights? And the next thing you know, by 1954, 6 years into this explosive economy, we're in the middle of a revolution.
I'm lost. Can you help me find my way home?
Yo, bro, why are your arms so long? I mean, wait a minute. Why are you in my house? How did you get in here? So I could see why my man is visibly shaken and surprised. something is going on, man. Your spine is... Terry, all right. Terrifying.
Here are 5 disturbing and scary facts you didn't know. Part 18. If your immune system ever found out that you have eyeballs, you would go blind. Which means right now your immune system has no clue that you can see. Because if it did, they would attack your eyeballs until you can no longer ever see. Did you know that TikTok knows who your truest friend is? Your truest friend is the first person that appears when you click on share and then more. You are always 6 minutes away from death. But breathing resets the clock. In 2021, a new homeowner was shocked to find a boarded up wall. When he ripped the boards off the wall, he discovered a hole. And that hole was a doll clutching a note. The note saying that she killed a family who lived there in the 1960s.
So that's what this guy in this video is depicting. Ah, I get it now.
This is Lee. What's he called? He's called Lee. He's been through quite a lot of trauma and he's quite unusual looking.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am serious.
Well, what's wrong with him?
He just kind of stares into the distance and he doesn't really engage with anyone.
No. What's wrong with his eyes? Yeah, he just stares. I was telling you. His eyeballs. Yes, he stares. He just stares into the distance. Nah, man. The balls in there, it looks like it's a human. In another life, was he a nosy neighbor? My bad. I should have told you guys, don't watch this at night. I didn't know myself that these things was that creepy and they had that kind of music in them. So if you want to make a note to yourself or tell the other people in the comments, you can say, hey man, don't watch this at night. I don't know why the creator didn't say that. He fucking up. Don't watch this by yourself.
This 12-year-old girl unalived her entire family so she could be with her 23-year-old boyfriend.
The only thing that's sick about that is everything.
Jasmine Richardson was a normal kid until she turned 11 years old. She started dressing in a darker aesthetic, liking some darker things. She would post on websites like MySpace and vampirefreaks.com, telling people she was 15 instead of 11. Because the thing about Jasmine is even though she was 11, she didn't look 11. She always kind of looked older than she actually was. She started sneaking out to hang out with her new older friends and would meet older guys. By the time that Jasmine was 12 years old, she was in a full-on relationship with this freak, 23-year-old Jeremy. And just so you know, just because she was lying about her age on social media, this guy was fully aware that his girlfriend was 12 years old, a literal preteen, and he would also tell people that he was a 300-year-old werewolf. So for context, we are dealing with a full-on freak.
But he does look like he could be a werewolf. This is just his human form. You shouldn't judge people like that. This content creator, I mean, come on now. You should know better than that. Don't shame this guy for being 300 years old. He looks good for 3 centuries.
Jasmine's parents were horrified when they found out that their 12-year-old daughter was online telling people that she was older than she actually was and that she was dating a full-on adult. So they did their best to keep Jeremy away. Jasmine and Jeremy didn't want to be apart, and they thought that the only way that they could be together is if Jasmine's parents were no longer alive.
Which is what you do when you want to be with your soulmate who's 300 years older than you.
What started out as jokes became real plans to not only unalive Jasmine's parents, but her 8-year-old brother as well.
Well, her dad's head and face. That's a joke. This literally looks like a meme. Like somebody put this part of the face, right? Just this on a different person's head. Tell me that don't look like that. Is that just me? Even the little kid, they all look like memes. These are not real faces. Are you fucking with me, content creator? As she playing with us, right? Just trying to get views. Cause that's not a real head on a real face. That look like a thumb that somebody drew a happy face on and a little eyebrow. That's not real. That's my bad. I didn't even mean to waste your time like that. I thought this was a real clip. Obviously, this is a goddamn comedian. She's just cute. That's why you see, I said I don't like these attractive women. They think they can just get away with doing anything. Disgusting. Outside during that, you would have froze to death. What about a person that was inside their car? Did they freeze? Or are they alive still? You tell me in the comments.
Look at all these houses in Florida allegedly painting their roof blue.
Why?
Blue of all colors.
Lasers, bro.
Now I know you've seen that video of that big green laser straight down. Look, it's fake. It's fake. There was a real green laser scanning the area I'm about to show you. But first, let's look at what Biden said.
If you fly over these areas that are burned to the ground, you'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. And anyway, since I took office, she was fired Texas alone. Dickhead.
Did he mean to not say that? Or did he mean to say that and he just laughing at everybody?
It's pretty weird, isn't it? Now let's...
Totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. And anyway, since I took office, she was fired Texas alone. Dickhead.
That is pretty weird, isn't it? Now let's look at the news report of the real green laser.
Pause to wait. Flying low over people's homes, scanning the ground with that green laser. Welcome back. I'm Chris Sablotti.
And I'm Lois. Tell me, so what does this plane, what is it doing? Awake News anchor Annette Montgomery joins us in the studio. And Annette, what did you learn?
Well, Chris and Lois, I learned who it's not after reaching out to everyone from the city of Cape Coral to the county, to the Florida Division of Emergency Management, to the South Florida Water District and Port Authority. Now, these low-flying planes with green lasers does not belong to them. One neighbor got so fed up, she purchased a flight radar to help narrow down the search.
I bet Home Depot sold out blue paint.
I already got some, bro.
Every time I go to America, I dread that experience. In 1 week, I put on a pound. If I spend 2 weeks in the United States, even if I'm eating the exact same foods I'm eating here in Europe, I put on a pound a week. When I come back to Europe, I immediately start shedding weight. Here in Europe, I drink very little. I eat a ton of bread. I love carbs. I love the pasta here. I do not put on weight. As soon as I set foot in any state in the United States, I start getting bloated.
Well, you are surrounded by pesticides and herbicides at much higher levels. The water quality in the U.S. is lower. What's going on there is you're not actually putting on a pound of fat. You're putting on a pound of inflammation. It's hard to put a pound of fat on in 1 week. Your cells, instead of turning that air and food into electricity and heat, they were turning it into inflammation.
Well, thanks, Dr. Science. All I gotta do now is escape America.
Military liaison between the Pentagon and NASA. I'm here as a anonymous whistleblower to tell everyone that what happened on April the 8th was not an eclipse. What happened on April the 8th was called Project Pegasus. It's been in the planning for years. What occurred, not an eclipse, since moon was beside the sun during it and not crossing it. And also, it's for both and Pisces. The whole thing is ridiculous, and that's how much credit the government gives all of you, because they'll do something that blatantly wrong. I mean,
I just gotta stop it. I hate this acting technique, crying or like out of breath. They're so distraught. What's that scary stories in? Hold on, let me Google this thing right quick. Yeah, scary stories to tell in the dark. What's the girl? Zoe Coletti. She always sounded like she was crying in every scene.
You don't read the book. The book reads you.
Every time you ask her a question, hey, what do you want for breakfast? I'll take some eggs and you can give me a little bit of orange juice and maybe some bacon because I think it's gonna be delicious. And that's how this asshole sounds. Dude, you're not that fucking scared. Shut the gonna slap the fire out of somebody, man.
inaccurate, just impossible. And yet they know that Americans will be called conspiracy theorists if they even bring it up. So they do it, and they don't even care. Okay, so what did they do if there wasn't an eclipse? The biggest thing you have to realize.
What did he even say? What they do, and you gotta understand that when this shut the Jesus Christ, women. If you're dating a guy like that, how do you do it? My bad, I just answered my own question. You don't do it. You cheat on the asshole. Okay. Phew. Glad we got that out of the way.
Can somebody explain to me in crayon eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live?
Yeah, the clip earlier that I played.
From 1948 to 1973, for 25 years, the U.S. economy was so amazing that you could conceivably get a job. I mean a regular job. I don't mean an amazing job. And the pay would be so high and the benefits so amazing that you could not only afford to buy a house and feed your family, you might be able to send your kids to school.
That some of you might have checked out on? Yeah, that's why. Because this is a conspiracy too, right? I know aliens and the old Project Pegasus, and I know when you're homeless, you're going to be saying, man, we should have never freed them goddamn black people.
That's not funny.
But seriously, they don't like any of us. And just to keep us busy, ooh, UFOs. Oh, it's aliens in the Miami Mall. Aliens in the mall. Aliens want to come from millions of miles away to go to the mall. In Miami. I mean, it's the biggest mall in America, but come on now, dog. Come on now, man.
And I do not want to hear the pull yourself up from your bootstraps, work 90 hours a week. That's not the goal, guys. That should not be our standard. I am so fucking tired of people being complacent with this uniparty, both of them fucking us over. When my parents were my age, they both made less than half of what I make, and they lived alone. I cannot afford to live anywhere alone.
Hold on. Listen, American grown-up Harry Potter. Relax. Get a girl, nigga. Get some roommates. What's wrong with you, dude? I tell you what the problem is. You don't got enough black friends. We've been living with this bullshit since we've been black. That's why you don't see a lot of people from the inner city freaking out. We're just like, oh, it finally reached you. Oh, okay. Welcome, fam. We've been trying to tell you. We're not mad, and we're not like, I told you so. We're like, we're not holding it against you. We're like, dude, we've been trying to tell you. Well, those of us, 99% of, black and brown people, we've been trying to tell you. There's a 1% of black people that they don't fuck with us neither. So you always got a friend in us. So now, are you willing to get over your whatever and be friends with us? Because it ain't getting any better. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It's not going to go back to being what, candy bars are never going to be a nickel again, ever.
Bedroom apartment, $1,800. 2-bedroom apartment, $2,200. Who the fuck can afford that? It is embarrassing to come out and say that it is a struggle to survive right now. But I know so many people are struggling. And do not get me started on what my grandparents were doing. They $3,000 house. And yes, I understand inflation and all of the bullshit that they have been pulling with the Fed.
That's the problem. You're too understanding of that shit. Whereas people from the inner city, from the beginning, we was like, man, this is bullshit. Fuck you, Reagan. We been was saying that. Man, this is bullshit. Fuck you, Nixon. Every president. Man, this is bullshit. Fuck you, George Washington. Okay, that's not funny. But it kinda is. You gotta laugh at this serious shit. If you don't, you're gonna be like this out of work porn star looking dude. just upset that he don't have the porn look, but he does. But he can't get no one to do any scenes with him.
Why are we allowing it? Why? And then I clock out of my shift, and inflation and all of the bullshit that they have been pulling with the Fed. Why are we allowing it?
For context, my UK fam, my international fam, my people in France, Italy, they're not allowing it. They will fuck the government up. The government knows that. The government is scared of them. They don't fuck around out there. You know what I mean? The French Revolution, okay? They overthrow shit. America don't want us over here doing that. They like, no. It's a different animal, international. Serbians, you better believe the Serbian government is nervous of them. Don't like when these guys go to a football game, oh my God, the police over there are terrified. That's why we're allowing it here. It's not really we the people. It was at one time, but now it's, I think maybe like since the 80s, it's everybody for themselves. The media made it seem really good and cool, you know, to be this, what's that guy? What's the guy from American Psycho? You guys put it in the comments. I forget his name. Corporatism and capitalism and yeah, American Psycho and yeah, I'm a Sigma. And the 80s made it seem, the me generation made it seem really cool. International people, they was never buying it because America is really a young country. 200 years, that's young, dude. French has been around since centuries, dude. You gotta go back to like, I don't know. You guys know, centuries, these different countries outside of America have been around, established, doing stuff the way that they been doing it. They're not buying into any of this weird stuff that America, now they are, after years and years and years. You know, McDonald's, Burger King, oh, I want that. Oh, I'm living in the material world, and yay, Madonna, I'm material girl. Now, you know, they sold it to you. They made it seem fair seeming. That's what Lucifer does. He made the apple seem like this is dope. No, you don't know what you're missing. You're gonna be one of the gods. What you mean you heard don't bite this? Bitch, oh, stop being a weak bitch. What, you don't know, what? You don't know about that? Oh, whatever. Whatever, bitch. Get the fuck away from me. And you
Why? And then I clock out of my shift. I am tired. I have to go home. And I check the news. Another 60 fucking billion to a country nobody can point out on a map.
My international fam is like, yeah, man, I hear you. Black people, we're like, come on. Feel that? All right, I'm gonna stop pausing it. I'm gonna try to stop laughing. I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing at how now you have to be friends with these people that you quote unquote don't like. Why don't you like them? Don't even know why. You got more in common with this person than you have been told you have in common with them for the past 40 years. You know who knew you had more in common with these people? Who your government told you had nothing in common with? Jesus. That's hilarious to me. Fuck you.
If you look at Google Sky right now on the computer and look down on Antarctica, you'll find research bases from every major country in the world there. And you'll also find the Rockefeller Foundation base as well. Admiral Byrd was right. #1 place in the world for technology research is right down there in Antarctica. I believe that as the ice is melting, they're finding remnants of an ancient civilization. We know that Antarctica was not a frozen tundra.
I believe that. I don't believe a lot of stuff this guy says because he mixes too much truth with falsehood, like story gumbo. But every now and again, he'll say some stuff that lines up with not only stuff that I've heard throughout my life, stuff I've heard from other older people who have way more knowledge than me, that I believe.
We know that Antarctica was not a frozen tundra for 12 million years. Like mainstream science says 12 million years to build up all this ice. No, that's not accurate. We know this because of the Perry-Reese map. The Perry-Reese map shows Antarctica what it looked like without ice on it. Antarctica shifted into that spot. How? Because we know that Antarctica is surrounded by tectonic plates. There was something called a pole shift of the crust of the Earth, which shifted it from a more habitable climate into the position it is now, and that's why the animals that are being uncovered from the ice were flash frozen with undigested food in their stomachs.
Flash frozen. A lot like this thing that man now knows how to do.
And there's an entire advanced civilization there, including some of the largest pyramids on Earth, right in Antarctica.